Well, welcome to my garage, you guys. This is where all the magic happens after a fishing trip, or maybe not so magic. And what I wanted to do today is something a little bit different than maybe you've seen before. Basically unpack my stuff from my last trip and show you exactly what I did bring on that trip. So let's get unpacking and I'll show you what I bring out on a typical trip. I'm going to leave links in the description below for every single thing I show you in this video. It's going to be a lot of links and you can sort through them if you want, but I'll also put a link at the top to the entire list. So you can click on that, it'll bring you to a page with every single thing in here. Let's start with the rod bag. My rod bag slash tackle bag. So this is a Striker Ice tackle bag, and basically it's got a main big pocket right here, and I can fit up to 8 tip-ups in here, believe it or not. It's got 4 side pockets for tackle storage. The really cool part is on each end it's got tubes that go underneath for rod storage. So I can keep 5 rods in tubes in this bag along with 8 tip-ups and 4 tackle boxes. And it's a huge advantage to have all your stuff in one spot. In here right now looks like 6 Beaver Dam tip-ups, and these are kind of the OG original tip-up. They're a great tip-up. They still make them in Wisconsin. These are awesome setup for anyone who wants to get into tip-up fishing. Now on the end of this tip-up you may see this little black clip here and wonder what the heck that is. That is for my Vulture Systems indicators, which are in this pocket right here. Then they actually just clip right into that clip. I don't know if you guys have seen these before, but they are absolutely awesome for bite detection. Basically it's got a magnet right here, and I'm going to clip this little alligator clip to my flag. Light flashes, and all of a sudden I got this lanyard on and I know exactly which flag it is. It tells me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I can silence that, and then when I go to set it back up, I just put that magnet back on, reset it, and away we go. Now what I like about this clip that comes with them is if I screw this on the end of my tip up, I can check this tip up, pull it out of the water, check my minnow, drop it back in. This doesn't sit on the ice. I don't have to disconnect anything. It just stays right with it. The other essential thing I have in here is my terminal tackle box. So this houses all my treble hooks, my sinkers, all the gear that I use to retie leaders and set tip-ups and things like that. That always stays with my main bag. So basically what I've got in here is 2 tackle boxes, all my vultures, my tip-ups, and 5 rods. So let's get into what rods I have in these rod tubes. This right here is my Tundra 34-inch light extra fast. It's got this really fast tip on it. This is what I'm going to use on a nice decent warm day to go out hole hopping. It's got that little bit longer length to it. I can hold it out there and get it nice and close to the hole without having to bend down. And I've just got a straight line reel on that one. This is a number 8 tackle. I'm not sure if they make these anymore actually, so I may have to link a different reel for that, but this is a great bluegill setup, super extra fast action on there, a nice backbone for fighting those bigger fish. This is a Neptune Ice Rods 28-inch ultralight. It's got a little slower action to it. This is what I typically use in the shack. So it's got this cool handle on it. These things are designed to be ergonomic and keep that rod tip down close to the ice without having to torque your wrist down. So I use this all the time in the shack because it gives me more room to set the hook, etc. And I also use it for sight fishing quite a bit. So those are my 2 main panfish rods. I'm going to put these back, we'll flip it around, and I'll show you what I have on the other side. These are more my walleye, pike, bass rods. I'll take the first one out here. This one is also a St. Croix Tundra, but this is a 30-inch medium. And this one's got a lot more backbone to it for, running heavier lures. You can jig spoons on it, little jigging wraps, any walleye size bait. This is perfect. Super sensitive, nice cork handle. And then on that one, I've got the classic Pflueger Monarch. I've told you guys in some other videos that I absolutely love those reels. I probably have 6, 7, 8 of them, and they've been really good for me. This is my walleye slash bass slash pike hole hopping rod. This is a 36-inch medium heavy St. Croix Mojo ice. And again, when I'm hole hopping, I like to have a little bit longer rod, get that rod tip down there. And on there, I've got another Monarch, and then I've got on the end of that, I've got that clam 5/8 ounce Tikka minnow which is an all-around great bait for any kind of predator fish. So in slot number 3, I've got another Neptune. This is a 28-inch light. It's more of a kind of crossover rod for smaller bass pike, you know, walleye lures, like this little smaller Tikka minnow here. Again, it's got that handle on it that I like. Great for fishing in the shack. Good all-around rod. And this one actually comes with the reel. It's a combo. Now I should mention, my panfish rods are all spooled up with either 2 or 3 pound fluorocarbon. I'm using Suffix right now, Suffix Invisalign Ice, 100% fluorocarbon, either 2 or 3 pound depending on what I'm chasing. My walleye rods are the same thing, 6 pound fluorocarbon is my go-to for all of these walleye rods, and that's what I've got on all of them at the moment. So that's pretty much my rod bag. As I put these away, we're going to hop into the next thing I got here, which is my Vexilar camera. That's what I'm using to do any kind of camera work, you know, check holes for weeds. Sometimes I'll fish with that camera as well. And then behind me, I've got the FLX30. This has been an absolutely awesome flasher for me so far. I just got it this year, but every single time I've used it, I've been just amazed at how good this thing is. And basically, it's got that digital display on it. It's got a whole bunch of different sonar cone angles you can change. You can customize almost anything on this flasher, and you will not get any interference with other people. It's got a lithium battery, comes with it. It is the ultimate ice flasher in my opinion. So that is a go-to for every single ice trip basically that I go on. I'm bringing that with me. So moving on, behind me here, I've got my bait containment system, which is an Engel 13-quart live bait cooler. It's got a foam gasket around the top to keep from splashing. It's got a port right here for your aerator to go into. These do usually come with an aerator, but I changed the one out that came with it with a clam lithium aerator, and this thing is an absolute game changer. This is the best aerator I've ever had. You don't have to keep putting batteries in this thing. And it also has 2 run settings, so it has a continuous and it has an alternating on-off, so you don't wear the battery down so fast. That's basically all I need to carry as much bait as I need for a day of fishing with me. Let's go to augers. I'll show you what I got over here for an auger. This is what I've been using for 2 years now. This has been a very good setup for me. The Eskimo pistol bit, this is an 8-inch, a true 8-inch auger. And then I've got that on the Milwaukee Fuel 18-volt hammer drill. I've got 4 batteries, including this one. I can drill over 100 holes, even in thick ice, with 4 batteries. And this has been a really nice run and gun setup. I personally don't like to have the hammer drill handle on there. It just makes everything lighter, more compact, easier to carry. So that's my auger setup. My little buddy heater goes with me everywhere I go. These things have been around for a long time. They're very reliable. They use the 1-pound cylinders, or you can hook them up to a 20-pound cylinder. And then of course I've got a couple of extra 1-pound cylinders. As you know, these babies can be hard to find this year, but you know. And then, this is my jaw jacker bag. So in this bag is everything I need to run my jaw jackers. I've got one side with the actual jaw jackers in them. I think I have 4 of them in here right now. If I have a person fishing with me, we can put 4 of them out, and Jigs still in Wisconsin, so I like to keep 4 of them in there. And then in the other side of this bag, there's 2 slots on it. I keep my rods that I'm using for the jaw jackers. So I've got a couple different ones. I've got a jaw jacker brand. I've got an ugly stick. I've got a Neptune with a straight handle on it. It's kind of a custom made rod. So fiberglass, slow action. That's what you want for these, and that's what I've got in here. On the side pockets of this thing, I like to keep a couple extra loops for the jaw jacker. They have this little nylon loop that goes on the end of your rod so you don't ruin your guides. So in case I lose one or want to add a rod. One of the other things I keep in here is a little bit of de-icer, because the trigger system on these is susceptible to icing up if you get it wet. So if you throw a little of this on there on the trigger, it will melt the ice and it's not going to freeze up on you. So I always keep a little bottle of that in there with them. And that's pretty much my full setup for running jaw jackers on the ice. That goes with me wherever I go, because for panfish, even for walleyes and bass sometimes, You just can't beat a jaw jacker, and I'll use that over a tip up. So now I obviously have 2 shacks on here, 2 shelters, and these are both new this year. This is the Clam X400 hub, and this is what I like to use if I'm planning on sitting in one spot for a long time, fitting a couple guys in there with me, using for a main base. That's been an awesome shelter so far. It's got good anchors. I have the hub light, LED hub light mounted in here, as well as the clam lock system for rod holders and things like that. Like for instance, I've got my rod holder right here with the clam lock on there. When I go into my shack, all I gotta do is slide that on the hub and I can put 4 rods in there and keep them off the ice. And then when I leave, I just slide it out, put it back. The shelter can fold right up. So amazing accessories as always from Clam. Now, this shack, this is the one I'm going to be using if I'm hole hopping. This goes on the back rack of my 4-wheeler or slides into the back of my truck. It's a one-man Kenai Pro Thermal Stealth, and the Stealth is actually means that this entire canvas on here is black and it's got no seams. So I can flip that over and it's totally dark in there for sight fishing and actually looking down the hole and seeing fish. So it also comes with an LED light bar in it, so at night you can flip one switch and the whole entire shack lights up inside. I actually took the seat out of it to make it even lighter for lifting in and out of my truck. I can fit more gear in it that way, and I can also, you know, pull it on the ice with less weight. No extending poles, so they just go right over you and flip back down. You don't have to extend the poles out and clip them in place. So very fast, very light, very efficient. For one person, that's what I'm using on the ice for my one-man shack. Okay, I have to go get my clothes because I don't want to leave you without letting you know what I'm wearing on the ice. I've got the Ice Armor by Clam Ascent jacket and bibs here, and these have been awesome for me so far. It's a float suit, which I consider essential. They got great pockets, great accessories. Can't say enough about this suit. And then as far as gloves, I'm just wearing the Ice Armor typical shorter gloves. I like shorter gloves so they slide on and they don't push your cuffs up. So I'll leave a link for those. And then I've just got a stocking hat, and this thing is super warm. I wore this last weekend out on the ice, you know, for 4-wheeler rides and stuff like that out to your spot. This is just a fleece lined gaiter, and that keeps your neck really warm and super comfortable. That's also by Ice Armor. So that's kind of my main stuff I'm wearing, as well as these Norfin boots are the best boots. I can't say enough about these things. They're the best boots I've ever worn. I always had sweaty, wet feet in the past, and somehow these things wick that moisture right away from your feet. I've never gotten cold feet in these a single time, and I can wear them all day. They're super comfortable, and the cool thing about them is they have a flip down ice spike right here. So if I forget my cleats, I just gotta flip that little clip down and I can walk on the ice and not worry about sliding. So if you guys are liking this video, if you're getting value out of this video, make sure you like it, subscribe. I love ice fishing, and that's what I make content for. I live for ice fishing, and you can probably tell that by now. Alright, we're kind of getting down there. Basically all that's left is breaking down my tackle and then my accessories. So this is my extendable ice scoop. This is made by Rapala. It extends to 36 inches. I can scoop a hole out standing, you know, perfectly upright with this thing, and I don't have to bend over. And I can collapse it all down into just a little 1-foot package. So, and then as far as other accessories, this one is probably one of my favorites right here. This is my fish bag. This is a ice live well made by Clam Outdoors, and I can keep fish in this, keep them in the water, in the hole all day long, and they will not freeze on me. I hate having frozen fish to clean at the end of the day. I just slide them in here, keep them in the water. When I'm done, I bring a garbage bag, slide the whole bag in there with the fish, keeps my sled from getting all slimy, and I can keep everything I need for taking fish off the ice right here in this one little package. So that's a great accessory as well. So let's get into the tackle boxes. Let's see. First of all, my spoon box. This box is something I made myself, actually. I also have a bigger one made by Clam here, but this one's super durable. It's a flambeau box, and I just put a piece of foam in here. And basically my spoon box, I keep a few different types of spoons. I'm going to have some tungsten spoons like these Euro-Tackle T-flashers. Great for fishing heavy, fishing deep. I'm going to have some clam spoons with rattles in them and some without. These are just your typical lead jigging spoons. I'm going to have a bunch of flutter spoons in here for fishing shallower water. You know, stuff like this ribbon leech flutter spoon by Clam. And then I've got a few oldies, you know, the classic Acme Castmasters. I've got a few of those in here. Great baits. And then I've got a few PK spoons in here. I've got a few Euro-Tackle live spoons, which are a really cool finish on them. They're a little bit lighter for fishing shallower water. And that's kind of all I take with me. A bunch of different sizes, different colors, as you can see. This is kind of my jigging lure box. So this one is where I keep all my jigging style baits. I've got jigging wraps in here. I've got some Lucky John fins in here. I've got some clam tikka minnows in here. A little bit of everything. On this side, I've got a bunch of Z-Vibers, Euro-Tackle Z-Vibers, and some of my smaller tikka minnows and jigging wraps in there as well. So that's kind of enough room that I can keep 20-30 of them in one little box, nice and compact. It's just a plain old double-sided tackle box. So, and then this box basically just got some odds and ends. I've got some Lucky John stuff here, and I've got my vibratos in here, a couple more Z-Vibers, a couple of Fish Daddy dirty bombs in here. So just kind of a bunch of random stuff. And this box, this is kind of where I keep all my soft plastics. So I've got some tubes and some little swim baits and stuff like that, which are totally underrated, I think, for ice fishing. And I've got more Z-Vibers in here. Kind of got Z-Vibers everywhere. And then I've got a bunch of clam flutter spoons in here that didn't fit in my spoon box. So I always keep my panfish jigs with me. So they're in my pocket of my clam bibs. And I've got a clam double-sided case here. And what I did actually was just glue a piece of like floor foam from some of that puzzle piece flooring. And what that does is it kind of compresses my baits and keeps them from falling out of the hangers and keeps them from rattling around in there. So this is going to be my little mini T-flashers, my mini Z-Vibers, some of my clam duck bills. And then on the other side is all my tungsten jigs. So this is basically my drop kicks, my drop jigs, you know, my epoxy drops, my ant drops, all of my clam jigs that I use for pan fishing, and all the various sizes and colors are in there. And that just stays in my pocket at all times, so I can switch jigs out super easily. And then in the other pocket, that's where I keep my plastics box. So it's just a little Plano box with a bunch of little slots in it. And I keep all my plastics in here, like my Euro-Tackle bloodworms, planktons. I've got some Euro-Tackle leeches in here. I've got some clam mackies in here, some red ones, some neckies in here. A bunch of different great little plastics that stay with me, and I can switch those out easily as well. So that's pretty much it. I think that's all my stuff. That's basically all I bring with me, other than my camera gear if I'm filming. So if you guys have any questions, drop a comment below, and make sure you check out some of my more in-depth videos like on tungsten jigs. I'll leave a link for that here at the end. And thanks for watching, guys. Have a great ice season, and get out there and get hooked up.